guys. Okay, so we are going to play today with some alcohol inks. My good friend Kristie Taylor from Kristie Taylor Creations on YouTube and on her website, which I will include in the description of this video, she sent me some really cool, she makes her own alcohol inks and watercolor inks. She has regular alcohol inks, which are these guys that are just plain old alcohol inks, which are fantastic. The colors are gorgeous. If you see the sample here, the alcohol inks are what's in the background. And then her watercolor inks, she sells just plain watercolor inks, and then she sells shimmering watercolor inks. And the shimmering watercolor inks are the profile here. Also, I used a stencil. Where's my stencil? Oh, here it is. I used a stencil to create this piece here, that mask piece. But, and then she has, like I said, plain watercolor ink, shimmering watercolor ink, alcohol ink, and shimmering alcohol ink. Today we're going to play with the plain alcohol ink and then the shimmering watercolor ink, and we're going to make this. This, of course, can be, it's just a piece of YUPO paper that I did. I had a small piece of YUPO paper. But you can make it for cards. You could do all kinds of stuff. You could frame this in a shadow box. It's completely up to you. The sky's the limit. I just wanted to create something with a stencil to show you that there's many options with Kristie's stuff. Yes, you have the gorgeous alcohol ink, which everybody knows and plays and loves with, which I'll show you, but also the watercolor it does not work on YUPO paper. It is on watercolor paper, and I do apply it with a watercolor brush. But I also, which is kind of cool, but I don't know if you can see, I'm going to get a little close and see if you guys can see the shimmer in there. I hope so, because it's really delicate and subtle, but it's so beautiful. And to be honest, wow, that looks so pretty. To be honest, I am not a person who gravitates towards shimmering stuff, but when I do, I go, why don't I use this more? But it's not something that I usually grab and, think, oh, always. I love glitter and I love sparkly things, but I don't really do a lot with my artwork. So to play with this was really fun and kind of eye-opening, and in a sense of like, you should do this more, Jenny. So, okay, so we're going to get started. Just really quick, some of the supplies. I have scissors, I have a straw to blow the alcohol ink before it dries. I have a little mister it's a mini mister from Ranger that I have filled with alcohol, that if I want to, I can change up the look of the alcohol itself, the alcohol ink. And then I have a little bottle here that also has alcohol in it, rubbing alcohol. And then I have little dots, which is what I use to stick this once I cut it out onto my background. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to play, I have these little guys too. These are from Ranger also, these little mini daubers, and some extra foam. This is what I'm going to put the alcohol ink on. I will not use this for the watercolor ink because it just sits on top. I made the mistake of trying it, and it just sits on top like a bubble, like a dewdrop. So you just put it on a non-porous surface, and like you would any other watercolor, and play with it that way. The cool part of it is, as you can see, the pigments are delicious. But there is that gorgeous shimmer in there too. So we're gonna get started. I am going to clear some space here, and this is my YUPO paper, and on the YUPO paper we are going to do the background. We're going to do like oranges and pinks and reds. Okay, so we're just going to move this out of the way, and I have this on because inks can be somewhat staining, and I just don't like the purple. I had a purple one earlier, the alcohol ink, and it's pretty potent. The color is so worth it, but I just got my nails. I just did my nails, and it took me forever. So I don't want to play with that. I don't want to get some ink in between my cuticles and whatnot if it bleeds. Which is fine if you like that. Usually I'm really not picky when it comes to my nails, because I usually have acrylic nails, but with the way life has been lately, I haven't left my house since March 13th. Okay, so I put a few colors on. I'm just going to dab it. Now the cool part is with these, I'm going to get the other one too. This is Hestia Red, Helios Orange, and Pavarti Pink. These are the alcohol inks, Kristie's alcohol inks. Oops. And see, if that happens, it's totally fine because it's just going to add to. And I'm going to throw some of this in here too and move it around and play with it. It looks like, oh, there's a bunch of circles, which is fine, totally fine if that's what you're going for. But I should throw some more of this red in too, or pink in, I should say. once it starts to spread and work on the YUPO paper, which is the magic of the whole process, is that gorgeous YUPO paper. I think I'm gonna throw a little bit of Juno brown in here. Also, I need to remind you guys, it's really important that you shake these up. Really, really important before you use them. Get those mixtures going. I mean, look at the magic of this. Now I want my edges a little darker. A little bit darker. What do I want? What do I want? I have all these little bags filled with gorgeous yumminess that Kristi sent me. What do I want? I think I'll use some gray, Athena gray. And I have a darker dauber. Athena gray, and see. Not too much. I don't want to dominate. I don't want the gray to take over. But I kind of just want a few spots. Not too much. I'm not going to manipulate it too much. Because what's happening here, I'm going to come in some. Hopefully you guys can see it. What's happening, because the alcohol inks, man, they're magical all on their own. You really don't have to do much if you don't want to. I'm going to throw some of this in the darker spots, spread it a little. Have a little play. I love what's happening right here. The orange is pushing that gray. This one was Athena gray, the orange, which was Helios orange. I mean, it's just so beautiful. It's so much fun to play with. I will say that when you guys are working, Kristie's inks are a little different than the standard alcohol inks. Her formula is a little different, and they're not as... obviously, she didn't give me the 411 on how the breakdown is because it's her family formula, but they're not as harsh as the regular alcohol inks. The harshest part would be the actual alcohol that you're using. The stuff I could not find 91%, which is like the one that you're supposed to have, and I happen to have this. I had 70%. 91% is, or yeah, I think 91 is the highest. Could be 99, I'm not sure, but I couldn't find it online anywhere. You know, surprise, surprise, because everything disinfectant-wise has vanished the face of the earth, the surface of the earth. But I had that, so that's what I'm using. But this is strong. So what I'm going to say, why I'm saying all this is because you need to make sure you work in a well-ventilated area. Okie dokie. It's important. I'm going to go a little bit more over here. This is Hestia Pink. And I put it, you know, whatever you do, make sure you have something underneath to protect your surface because this stuff does like to spread and pill over the sides, which is fine. Just be smart about it. If you have not played with alcohol inks, I highly recommend, I highly suggest that you do because they're very addicting and they lend themselves to, gosh, they do so much. They do so much. Okay, now I'm going to come in with a little bit of my rubbing alcohol. Just a tiny bit. I'm going to just sprinkle. I don't want too much. But what's cool is because each time you lay a new drop of something, it pushes the first one back and pulls that one up, and it creates layers upon layers upon layers. And if you've been following my channel, you know I'm obsessed with the layers. I'm looking at my camera right now, and it looks so cool. Okay, so we're going to move this, let it dry, because I'm done playing with this. I want it to dry. And now I'm going to move to my watercolor paper and my stencil, except first I'm going to cover these because if they get knocked over, they could drip, and I do not want to take that chance. Don't want to. So now I'm going to move to this bad boy. Also, this morning, big smarty pants I am, I grabbed me some tape. I took my heat gun to quickly dry after I did the work because this was still sitting on it and I didn't want to lift it and have the chance of the paint, the watercolors, you know, soaking up the white spots that I had tried to make with the stencil, and it started to warp it. Doggone it. So I reheated it a little, pushed it down, but that's about as good as I can get it. So we'll see where this ends up. By the way, this is a stamp by Balzer Designs, craftersworkshop.com. I'll put the link in the description. She has a bunch of stamps, or not, sorry, stamps, stencils, bunch of stencils. These gloves are very warm, very, very warm. So I'm just going to tape this down a little bit so that I can help a little bit that the warping that I created. I'm so bummed that I did that. I cannot believe. I didn't even have it on there that long, but it's so fine and delicate that I'm a ding dong. I'm a ding dong. I don't even know if this is going to work, truthfully. I think I'll flip it over and tape the back side too, so that I'm never going to get it off. So I don't have that buckle. This might help, actually. I think I can maybe take off my gloves now because they're killing me. Oh, they're so hot. So hot. Okay. So now, this is about as good as it's going to get. We shall see. So the watercolors I'm going to use, the shimmer watercolor shimmers, are going to be, I'm not going to use these. I'm going to use my paintbrushes now. These keep tipping over because my paper that they're on. I'm going to use my watercolor brushes, and I'm using a net. Shake them up too because they have that little shimmer powder in there, and you want a lovely distribution between everything. Adeline and Celestia. So because my background is fairly warm colors, it's nice and bright. Look at that. It's so pretty. I love it. I wanted to contrast, so I grabbed some darker watercolor colors so that I could play and make it. I want the two not to be so close together. So this is Adeline, and this is a purple, a purpley color. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna put a little bit more down. You can already see the shimmer. Ah! And I took my gloves off. Doggone it. But of course, God bless America. I cannot believe I just did that. And look, now it's all in my fingernails. That's great. That's great. Sorry, guys. Oh, man. So that'll show you. They're very pigmented. So be careful. I can't believe I just did that. Make sure you cap it down first before you start shaking. I'm so bummed. Oh, shake. Can't believe I just did that. Actually, I can. This is pretty much how my life rolls. And if again, just like the watercolor or the inks, if it falls, wherever it falls, it is what it is. Okay, so I've now wet my brush, and I'm just gonna scrub it in, doing a mixture of light and dark and having them overlap. Try to work around my bubbling of my stencil because I'm a genius and I melted it. Kind of taking that pink up into that, what color was that? Celestia, which is like a warm black. Or yeah, it's not super dark. And then there's this gorgeous purple, which is my Adeline. Clean my brush, bring some more in. Even if it leaks a little bit under the stencil, it's okay because we're gonna cover, like this, where's my sample? Where did it go? Where did my sample go? Oh, here. We're gonna remove some of the white. We're gonna take away some of the white with my Stabilo, all. We're gonna go in and it was so stark, I just kind of wanted to tone it down just a tiny bit, so it's okay if some of it bleeds under. But this is different because one, it's working on watercolor paper and it's watercolor, so it's not gonna move like the alcohol inks. Took me a while to figure that out. I kept thinking it was going to, but it doesn't, which is kind of cool because you have way more control with this. So you have the best of both worlds. You have the ability to not, have any control and just let nature take its course and see what happens with these inks. And then you have the ability to control. Oh, and I just went under and I did it again. Well, there you go. I might not have to add the Stabilo. I might do it naturally. I love how the colors, can't believe I spilled all over. Right the second I took my gloves off. I love how the colors play off each other and how they blend together. For sure. And if it works correctly, watercolor, once it hits the watercolor paper, it will only go where water is. So if you are, careful, slow about it, it's not going to have a mind of its own. Like I said, it doesn't flow like the alcohol inks. It'll only go where you allow the water to be. I mean, there is also, I'm not aiming for complete and utter like pristineness here. I want a little bit, obviously, I'm blending like crazy these pieces together, these colors. Because it's so gorgeous, these three colors together. So yes, KRISTIE, she's awesome. Her company's awesome. It's family owned. It has a lot of really beautiful color choices for between the shimmering and the regular watercolor inks and the shimmering and the regular alcohol inks. So many opportunities to play. So many choices. Okay. I'm very pleased with this. I'll let it dry just a tiny bit. And I'm going to go from up here because I don't want to melt my stencil. And move around. Too late. Maybe I did that. I love the way it looks right here, what's happening right there on the plastic parts. I wish that's what it looked like underneath. A couple more seconds and I'll take this off. Actually, I'm going to spritz it with alcohol because you can play with alcohol in watercolor. It creates really cool textures. You spritz a little, let it set for a couple seconds, then you pick it up with a paper towel, and it creates some fun little textures. So I'm going to spritz. I'm going to let it sit for a minute, and hopefully, remember this is the shimmer one too. This is the shimmer. Do a little. These are all the shimmer watercolors, and they're so pretty. I hope this works. This might not. Oh, actually, it did a little. It did a tiny bit. It did a tiny bit. Maybe I'll put a little bit more over here. Control the test and see what it does. See what it does. It kind of just looks like it's absorbing. I'm not doing much. I'm going to dry it again real quick. Okay. Pick up a little extra dots. Now I can see, which is absolutely okay by me, that it's not the perfect stencil tracing, but it looks like the parts that aren't white are actually dark. So the letters are still there mostly, but they're darker instead of white, which is kind of cool. I can't wait to see what that looks like completely. Isn't this the best part, the reveal, the stencil reveal when you do something like this? To see what it actually looks like. Okay. Oh, look at this. And this is totally fine because you're going to cut all this out, so it's fine to bleed over. But look at this. Okay, look at this. Look at how the letters filled in dark instead of left white. That's magic. Yay! Okay. So now I'm going to get my scissors. I'm going to dry this again real quick. And then I'm going to get my scissors and trim her out. Okay. I'm going to trim it out. And you can control, if you like some of the bleed and you want to keep it and maybe turn it into a flower or something, like in her hair, whatever. If it looks like something, you're absolutely totally welcome to do that, of course. Everything I teach on my channel is just a jumping off point. It's just a beginning to get your ideas flowing, get the creative juices going, to show you where you can take something. And like I teach in my on my page on Next Generation Art on Facebook, it's all about discovery for me. So everything is just like all the challenges and prompts and stuff that I offer. It's just because it's just so to get you guys thinking and being creative. And you can hear my husband singing in the background. I think he forgot that I was filming. Okay, so there's this, and I'm totally digging it. Let's see the difference between the two. That's awesome. So cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna like kind of manipulate it so it's not so bendy. It's not so like curved, and it's really wet right there. So I'm gonna dry that because I don't want it to rip. I flip over and dry the backside too, because a lot of the time, if it's when you're drying it, it starts to go in one direction, like it folds in on itself. If you do both sides, it'll flatten out pretty much, for the most part. Okay, or it'll flatten out mostly. Okay, now with this, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Okay, I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna trace this with my Stabilo, just because it's here. It doesn't have to be just that. I'm gonna get rid of my tape. I'm gonna trace this just so I have an outline, like an idea of where I'm gonna work. And then, can you guys see what I'm doing? Let me zoom back a little. Okay, I'm gonna trace this, and you'll see. I just want to kind of guidelines for myself. Okay, so now I have this. Now I'm going to come in with that. I think I want to do that brown that I used around here. Where is that brown? Juno brown. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to change out my pad here. Which is, uh-oh. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't let go. Don't let go. Okay. These are cool because they have the Velcro attached and the Velcro bottoms so that you can just make it work. Tim Gunn moment. Okay. Well, you know what? That's not dark enough. Because I want to make the portrait pop out a little bit more. I don't want the black. Maybe I'll do a little... No, I don't want the purple either. Well, let's see. Let's see what we got. Nope, definitely not dark enough. Let's use this gray, Athena gray. I might have to use black, but that's okay because it's a gorgeous black. So we're going to come in. I just want to kind of give like a shadow effect like we did with this one. I went back in and I made it a little darker around it so it stood out a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think, I'm going to use some black. Ah! Oh, like butterfingers today. Everything is ball. Oh, I went in the wrong spot with that. And then I'm going to take my straw, I'm going to stand up because I want to blow on it. So fun. You can blow and get those little sprays if you want. I have a little squishy ball thing coming soon that's got like an air pressure pusher, it like pushes the air for you, but I don't have it right now. But I will. Throw some Favardi pink in there. Just drop a couple little droppy poos in here, and I'm going to blow it. But I'm going to throw some Luna black. Sorry if I said Lunar before. And then I'm going to throw some little alcohol. And look at, oh my goodness, it's like a party. Let's see what this looks like. Before I blow it, I want to see how this is looking. I kind of like it without the blowing. I think I'm going to leave it. Okay. Dry, 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 dry. Also, be careful when you're drying YUPO paper. I'm not entirely sure what it's made of, but I did that. Like, I was playing with the inks the other day, and it totally warped my paper. And there ain't no going back from that. It will not flatten back out. Uh-oh. I'm moving stuff. You need to dry faster, faster, faster. Okay, I'll be back once this dries. Okay, so it was a little darker than I wanted, so I came back in with my alcohol and I sprayed a little, sprinkled some, and now I'm gonna blow it. To break up, sorry if my head was in the way, to break, but I want to be on top of it, to break up some of that dark. Also, you can't, you know, you can't fault this. That's pretty awesome. Where's my spritzer? And I'm gonna play, if you see I have book pages out too, I was gonna play a little. Yes, please. Sometimes I wish it would just freeze and not completely get all back together. Now I need to let this dry. Let's see. Yeah, it was a little dark for me, for what I was going for anyways. Not for me, but yeah. Lift some. It is very warm today, so drying pretty quick. I don't really care about the inside because it's going to get covered. There we go. It's not so harsh. Okay. Okie dokie. I kind of want to see what that looks like. I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm feeling it. In the meantime, I'm going to put this aside to dry, and I'm going to grab my Stabilo. Oops, wrong way. And I'm going to come in. I know it's a little dark, but I wanted to find some of these. And with the Stabilo, if you've never worked with the Stabilo before, you only need a little bit. A little bit goes a very long way. Just to define. And I mean that in the sense, you don't have to activate it. You can just use it as a black, you know, colored pencil kind of. It's very creamy though, so it will blend really well. But you can add water to this. It's a water soluble. It activates with water, and it moves and flows, and you know, has a mind of its own. It has, you can control it only so much. But if you love Stabilo, that's why you love it, because it does the work for you, basically. Which, you know, sometimes that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And I'm going to move this so it doesn't get wet. Move my book pages. Come in with some water and just, you see, just activate what I laid down. I also love that it picks up, because it is watercolor, so I love that it picks up and moves. The watercolor kind of softens it a bit. Now when it's wet, if you add Stabilo, it's going to freeze it. So whatever you do, and it's fine if that's what you're going for. I want to pick up some of this. Oh, look at that. I'm picking up some of the watercolor from the darker letters so that they stand out more. Yay, yay, yay. I love this, what's happening right there. I'm lifting some of the watercolor paint, the shimmer watercolor, and the shadow of the letters, the shadow print of the letters is still there. This is fantastic. Let me see if I can do it down here. There we go. lift, lift, lift so you can see those letters better. My goodness. This is why experimenting and playing is so important, you guys. If you don't do it, you'll never discover new things. Yes, now it's not, it was a little dark too. I mean, I didn't hate it. I loved it actually. But I'm really digging this. Had I not played with the Stabilo, I would have never discovered this. I mean, it's so cool. So fun. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Okay, now look at the difference between the two, the front and the back. All right, I'm going to dry the face a little quick. Dry this really quick. So happy with how this turned out. And the shimmer is still there. You don't wash away the shimmer. When you lift it, the color, the shimmer stays. The shimmer's not going anywhere. The shimmer will be there always. It's just embedded in the inks. The watercolor inks, shimmer inks. Okay, it is dry and it's glorious, glorious, glorious. Okay, so now I'm going to come back, find my lines. I wonder, let me look at something. The pencil I used, yeah, it doesn't do it. I wondered if it was, because I used Stabilo to trace it, so I wondered if it would activate, but it doesn't. It doesn't, but that's okay. It doesn't. Okay, so now I'm going to use my dots here that I have. And this is how I like to do it. I tried those new gel strip nail things because, like I said before, I used to get my nails done, and I've been terrified to, like, I feel like they're just going to chip, peel off over and over again. So far, they're holding up. So this is how I do it. Instead of sticking off the dot, or pulling off the dot, I cut some pieces, and then I place them where I want them. And, because they're so sticky and such a pain in the tuchus to, like, control. Once they're on you, forget it. It's almost impossible to get them off. And then you just roll them up and throw them away. Big old gummy glue that dried on your fingers. Okay. Once I attach these, make sure I'm putting it in the right spot so I don't go over. I'm going to take my little stick here. Let me zoom out a little. And I'm going to rub it just to hopefully get a good transfer so when I pick it up, because sometimes it doesn't want to let go. It likes being where it is. You could do this, now I had fun with this little whimsical stamp, but you could do this with, you know, letters, the alphabet, words. If you guys have crickets, you could cut out obviously pretty much any kind of stencil or whatever that you guys want. And then you could do the stencils that way. Sometimes when it doesn't unstick, I go the other direction, and you're being stubborn, so I'm going to use this and hope that it lets go. There. I stick my finger in it. And this is one of many, many options, ladies and gents. You can make, like I said, you can make these cards. It's so much fun. There's so many options. I'm going to find out where to kind of line it up to where I traced it. That's pretty close. Pretty close. And go. Now there is a lot of color going on here, and I don't hate it, but I want you to see the shimmer. I was trying to get the shimmer for you guys in the face. Okay, you guys, that's it. I'm going to put Kristie's information in the links below. Please check her out, support her. She's, you know, trying to make her dreams come true and have her home business be her only career of the alcohol inks and the watercolor inks. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. If you'd like to stay involved with How To Tuesdays, please like and subscribe, and click that bell so that you personalize it to you, and click personalize so that you get the updates whenever I post something new. And also, please join us over at Next Generation Art on Facebook. It's a new community. It's a great community. I've been there for a few years, have quite a lot of followers who are awesome and fantastic. And if you're interested in weekly challenges and prompts, join us there. All right, guys, I need to put more sticky here, and I'm out. Bye. Take care. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye. Okay, a little bonus bit here. Kristie also sent me her Silky Dust, which is super fun, actually. It does, it's like a texture. It's not really meant to be painted with per se, or it doesn't move like watercolor. It doesn't move like alcohol inks, but it is meant to be a texture, a background. It has dimension. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to wet my paper. I'm going to do it two different ways. I'm going to wet a section. Let me see. Let me get it bigger. I'm going to wet it. This is watercolor paper. I'm going to get it pretty wet. And then I'm going to, can you guys see this? And then I'm going to just sprinkle a little. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. You look at this and it looks black. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit more water. Now this right here, it's not meant to go with alcohol inks, but look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's so fun. The blacker bits, I'm not exactly sure of the formula. I don't know. I'm not going to ask her because it's her family formula, but the blacker bits will stay more textured. This is what I've noticed. The blacker bits will stay textured, and they'll have dimension to them, where the red just does this gloriousness. It's just fantastic. So you could add this. This is definitely like for if you want to do clothing or flowers. Flowers would be really cool. That'd be an awesome center for a flower. Look at that. What I just did. I'm going to pick some of this up so it doesn't drip. Actually, I'll use this. Oop, and there you go. And it drips. And then I'm going to come straight in. I'm going to pick a little bit up on a wet paintbrush. Oh, are you kidding? That's two different colors. What? Okay, my mind's blown, you guys. That's two different colors in this one Silky Dust. Kristie Taylor, I think this is the only kind they have right now, this only color, but look at this. Okay, I'm going to come back in now, and I'm going to manipulate this a little. Oh my gosh. These look like poppies. How cool is this? Now these are, look right here, it's starting to turn a little purple. Let me get a little closer. Or back up. I always do that. This is right here, it's getting a little purple. Let me see if I can move this some more. Now this is watercolor paper, so it's gonna, once it's soaked in, it's soaked in. But I can still get a little bit of pigment there. I'm mind blown. Let's maneuver this a little. Let's play. This stuff is so rich. So you saw I put on a little. A little goes a long way. Okay, we're gonna dry this. Now this, you can stop at any time. I just wanted to see what I could do to keep going. So this has a lot of potential, ladies and gents. A lot of potential. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to play with this more. My mind was just blown. Did you guys hear that? I was, what? This is some cool stuff. I can see how this would work for backgrounds for sure. And foregrounds, depending on what it is you're doing. Now this dry would be very different if I let it dry naturally. But I don't want to. I wanted you guys to see kind of what it looked like once it dried. You keep more of the texture, the hard edges and stuff. I just kind of blew them out because I was blowing it with the heat gun. But this also, there's also a texture here once it's dry. So your piece will have dimension to it too. All right, that was awesome. Thank you, Kristie. So much fun. I've had so much fun playing. Thank you. Okay, guys, go buy Kristie's awesome stuff. It's fantastic.